All right, so hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we are gonna get you totally up to speed on one of those really hugely significant moments in American history,
Yeah,
the kind that honestly we're still feeling the effects of even now.
for sure.
We're talking, of course, the Salem witch trials back in 1692,
Hmm.
but we're gonna approach this whole thing kind of uniquely. Okay, we're gonna use Arthur Miller's play, The Crucible, as our main guide.
Oh, okay.
Specifically, we're zeroing in on the background setup and then that super dramatic opening of Act One.
Okay, got it.
So spread out in front of us, we've got the play itself, obviously, right? And then this super insightful introduction by Christopher Bigsby.
Oh, Bigsby's great.
And our big mission today is three things. First, got to distill down those core factors, like the ingredients,
Right.
that allowed this whole witch hunt to even get started in Salem. Second, we're going to get to know those key players right off the bat. Like, who are these people as they first show up on the scene? And then third, we got to pinpoint those early moments, like the turning points.
Yeah.
What just regular suspicion,
Yeah.
right, morphed into outright terror.
Okay.
So buckle up because honestly, you're going to have some serious aha moments, the kind that cut right to the core of what makes this whole thing tick.
I love that you're calling those out.
They're important.
They are?
You know what strikes me right away is how this tiny village back in the 1600s, gives us this almost too perfect example of how fear, especially when it gets mixed up with this rigid way of thinking, it can just completely wipe out reason.
Yeah.
And then, boom, the consequences. Bad for individuals, bad for the whole community.
Exactly. And like you said, we're in Salem, 1692.
Hmm?
Pretty new settlement, only about 40 years old at this point.
Right. Still practically brand new by European standards.
And way out there in eastern Massachusetts, real frontier territory. Mostly populated by, a very specific group of deeply religious folks.
The Puritans.
The Puritans, right.
And these weren't exactly your typical, adventure-seeking
Oh,
colonists.
no, not at all.
This was like hardcore, strict living, super serious.
Wow.
Miller's stage directions, Bigsby's analysis, they both paint this picture of a life deliberately stripped bare, no vain enjoyment, quote unquote,
Right.
no novels, forget about theater, constant focus on prayer, didn't even celebrate Christmas.
Oh, wow.
Intense, right?
It was a society totally focused on spiritual discipline
Yeah.
and making sure everybody fit in, conformed.
Yeah, but it wasn't like all grim all the time, right?
True.
Bigsby mentions these roof raisings
Yeah.
they'd have for new houses, which meant communal meals.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And, there had to be some strong beverages involved.
Probably, yeah.
And then there's Bridget Bishop's Tavern, which was this known spot
Oh, right.
where folks would hang out. They even had a game called shovelboard, like shuffleboard maybe?
Huh. So not everyone was totally hardcore then.
Exactly. Even with all that piety, there were these flashes of normal human interaction. But one thing that really jumps out is this feeling of being watched,
Oh, yeah.
constantly.
Yeah, within the community itself.
Miller talks about how they'd appoint these patrols, specifically to check if people were going to church, and just to monitor everyone's behavior in general.
Wow.
Talk about a system designed to breed suspicion, right?
Totally. It's like a built-in recipe for it.
Everyone keeping tabs on everyone else.
Right.
And if we think about their location, geographically,
Mm-hmm.
they were on the very edge of what was considered civilized.
Right.
Vast wilderness to the west, just stretching out.
And that wilderness was terrifying to them.
Oh, yeah.
Not just empty space. It was like the devil's domain.
Right. And there was the very real threat
Yeah.
of attacks by Native Americans.
Exactly. So it was a constant source of fear.
And then on top of that, they had this really strong sense of being chosen,
Oh, yeah.
almost arrogant, this belief that they were holding the candle that would light the world.
Mm-hmm.
Both Miller and Bigsby make a point of that.
It's ultimate divine purpose, right?
Exactly.
Which, can easily lead to not tolerating anyone who doesn't agree.
100%.
Right? That kind of unwavering conviction. In their own truth, it created a worldview that was very, black and white.
Mm.
Bigsby's words, their universe was absolute, lacking in ambivalence.
Powerful stuff.
And they had their sacred texts, which to them dictated, literally dictated the fate of anyone seen as in league with evil.
No room for interpretation, huh?
What?
Bigsby does this interesting comparison, though, with the Jamestown settlement.
Oh, right.
He points out how the Puritans' whole communal structure, their shared ideology, even all that strictness, it was actually key to their survival in that tough environment.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Totally different from those individualistic, profit-driven folks down in Virginia. So in the beginning, that unity, that shared belief system, it was their strength.
They held them together.
But by 1692, things had gotten a bit messy, eh?
Yeah.
Both the play's introduction and Bigsby talk about this. The royal government had been kicked out, replaced by a junta.
A junta?
Basically this temporary group, either military or political, seizing power, and that created this instability.
Oh, yeah.
This feeling of uncertainty.
Makes the community vulnerable.
Exactly, right, for anxieties, for scapegoating. Miller uses this phrase, times that must have been out of joint.
Oh, I like that.
And Bigsby echoes that, saying ordinary folks probably felt as overwhelmed and confused, as we often do today.
Wow, yeah, I can see that.
This underlying unease, right? It made people crave explanations, even supernatural ones, for all the bad stuff happening.
That makes sense.
So we've got this backdrop, right?
Yeah.
Strict, isolated community, internal tensions brewing, external fears just looming, and then boom, there's this incident in the woods.
Okay, that spark.
That sets everything off.
Right.
It all starts with these young girls, including Betty Paris, the Reverend's daughter, and his niece, Abigail Williams. They're caught doing what's considered obscene practice, quote unquote, out in the forest, with Tituba, Paris's slave from the West Indies.
Oh boy, so the fallout from this is
huge.
Yeah.
Betty Paris falls into this weird, unresponsive state.
Oh no.
And Reverend Paris, his main worry isn't about the girl's well-being, not really. He's worried about his own reputation.
Of course.
He knows there are people in his congregation who want him out, and this whole woods thing, it's a direct threat to him.
Yeah, adds fuel to the fire.
Big time.
Yeah.
So then Abigail, when she's confronted, she tries to downplay it all. It were sport, uncle.
Oh, that famous line.
But Paris is not buying it. He saw Tituba waving her arms over the fire, heard weird noises. He suspects it's way more than just harmless fun.
Right. Right.
And then enters Mrs. Ann Putnam, described by Bigsby as this twisted soul, death-ridden. She'd lost 7 children in childbirth, haunted by it all. Yeah. So her arrival is a turning point.
Absolutely.
All that grief, that loss, it fuels her immediate suspicion. Witchcraft, that's got to be the cause, right? And we find out she'd even gone to Tituba before, trying to figure out who was responsible for her baby's deaths.
Oh, so she was already predisposed to believe in it.
Yeah, it shows how easily grief, plus a belief in the supernatural, could turn into accusations in this environment.
Right, a perfect storm.
And then, of course, there's her husband.
Thomas Putnam.
Thomas Putnam.
Not a great guy, by the sounds of it.
No, not really.
Yeah.
Miller paints him as this guy, carrying around many grievances. That's the phrase he uses. And Bigsby fills in some of the backstory.
Okay, so what's his deal?
Well, his brother-in-law was up for the minister position, but got rejected, and Putnam took that super personally.
Oh, wow, so it's all about him.
Right. Eldest son, wealthiest family in town, thought he was super smart, and he was known for being vindictive.
Vindictive, huh?
Oh, yeah, he even had a former minister thrown in jail. Over debts the guy didn't even owe? Seriously.
And get this, Bigsby points out that Putnam's handwriting is on tons of the witchcraft accusations.
Oh, so he's actively pushing this whole thing.
You got it.
So he's using this chaos to get back at people.
Maybe even grab some more land. Miller mentions these constant land disputes happening.
Right, right.
Putnam's not innocent in all this.
Not even close. And the accusations, they start flying fast.
Oh, yeah.
Abigail, feeling the pressure and sensing an opportunity, of course.
Whoa.
She throws Tituba under the bus. And Ruth Putnam, Ann's daughter.
Right, and then Mercy Lewis, the Putnam servant, she gets named too.
Yeah.
As being part of the group in the woods.
Everyone's pointing fingers.
It's all unraveling.
Yeah.
Then Mary Warren walks in. She's Proctor's servant.
Oh, Mary.
And she is scared. She's begging the other girls to tell the truth about what really happened.
Does she know about Abigail and Proctor?
Oh, that's a whole other layer. We'll get there.
Okay.
But Mary, she's freaking out because she knows what a witchcraft accusation means.
Yeah, it's serious stuff. She says, witchery's a hangin' air, a hangin' like they done in Boston 2 years ago.
She gets it. The stakes are high.
She does, but no one's listening. And then all of a sudden, Betty just blurts out that Abigail drank a charm to kill John Proctor's wife.
Oh, wow. So it's jealousy then.
Seems like it.
That changes things.
And then, get this, Abigail threatens the other girls.
Oh, no.
She says, and I quote, "Let either of you breathe a word or the edge of a word about the other things, and I will come to you in the black of some terrible night and I will bring a pointy reckoning that will shudder you.
Chilling.
Right. Intimidation, pure and simple.
And it shows how manipulative she is.
Totally. This is a power move.
Yeah, the power dynamic is shifting.
These young women, they were on the margins. But now, with these accusations, they're realizing how much power they have.
Fear is a powerful motivator.
It really is.
So we meet some other important characters in Act 1, too.
Right. John Proctor himself shows up.
Okay, finally.
He's this respected guy in town, but he's carrying this huge secret burden of guilt.
Bigsby calls him a sinner.
Yeah, against both the community's strict morals and his own conscience.
Right, and we see Mary Warren's reaction to him. Immediately uncomfortable, scared.
She knows something's up.
Yeah, there's definitely tension there.
And then the way Proctor and Abigail interact, it's brief but intense, and their affair is revealed.
Oh, so it's confirmed.
Yeah, Abigail's still hung up on him. You can feel it, but he's rejecting her, and you can tell he feels super guilty about the whole thing.
That's going to cause problems.
Oh, absolutely. Then Rebecca Nurse comes in.
Rebecca Nurse.
And she immediately seems to calm Betty down.
Oh, interesting.
Bigsby talks about how highly regarded Rebecca was, like people looked to her to settle disputes.
A natural peacemaker.
But here's the thing, there were these land disputes between her husband, Francis, and the Putnam family.
Of course, Putnam again.
And there was political infighting too. The Nurses and the Putnams were on opposite sides over who should be the minister.
So all this predates the witch hunt.
Oh yeah, these tensions were already there, which makes Rebecca a target.
Yeah, she's vulnerable.
Sadly.
It's like she's got this good reputation, but then all this baggage that gets dragged in.
And we also see this conflict between Reverend Parris and some of his parishioners, specifically Proctor and Giles Corey.
Giles Corey, what's their issue?
They're not happy with his salary.
Money problems.
Who owns the minister's house is a point of contention, and they think he's too focused on fancy stuff, like the golden candlesticks he got for the church.
Oh, so it's about materialism.
Yeah, they see him as kind of greedy, out of touch.
This shows that even with their intense beliefs, they were still real people dealing with everyday problems.
Absolutely, and those problems. They get tangled up with the witch hunt.
It all gets messy.
And then we meet Reverend John Hale.
Hale.
From Beverly. He's considered an expert on witchcraft.
It's like a specialist.
And he comes to Salem eager to find proof of the devil at work.
Oh, boy.
Bigsby points out that Hale believes in the devil, like as a real concrete being, almost a scientific approach to the supernatural.
Interesting.
But his arrival, it kind of legitimizes the fear.
Yeah, because now there's an authority figure backing it all up.
And he's the one who starts those intense interrogations, which leads to the formal accusations.
So Act 1 ends with things really escalating.
Oh yeah, Mrs. Putnam confesses
What?
to sending her daughter Ruth to Tippa to conjure the spirits of her dead children.
Whoa.
And that, ironically, makes the idea of witchcraft seem even more real.
Yeah, because now it's not just rumors.
It gives Hale the opening he needs for his questioning. He focuses on the woods, the kettle, the potential devil stuff.
And then Tituba confesses.
Under immense pressure from Hale.
Yeah, she's scared.
She names other people, Goody Good and Goody Osborne.
Oh, man. So now she's fueling the fire.
It's a chain reaction.
And the authorities, they have their proof now.
Exactly.
And then to cap it all off, the girls join in.
Abigail and Betty, they start accusing others.
Let's stop in it.
Partly caught up, partly realizing they hold all the cards now.
It's terrifying.
That ending of Act 1, it's chilling.
It really is. You see how fast it all goes down.
Fear and suggestion just snowballing.
Those girls who were scared at first, they realize that accusing others protects them and gives them a messed up kind of power.
So let's recap. What have we learned so far? We've got these social tensions, right?
Right.
Land disputes, political factions, people unhappy with the church. Then there's this deep-seated belief in the devil, the wilderness as a scary, evil place. And then you've got people like Putnam using the situation for their own gain, revenge even.
Power grabs.
And the fear, it spreads like wildfire.
Especially among the girls.
And then you have people on the margins, like the girls, like Tituba, suddenly having this power through their accusations.
Reminder of how easily anxieties can be twisted into mass hysteria.
The tiniest things can set it off.
That's amazing.
Like the girls dancing in the woods starts as harmless fun, ends up the catalyst for the whole thing.
Yeah, and those arguments over land.
Choosing a minister, it shows it wasn't just about religion.
Right, real world stuff was mixed in.
And the way personal grudges get disguised as witchcraft accusations, that's chilling.
Makes you think.
Bigsby and Miller even point out how the Crucible is an allegory for other times when society gets paranoid and starts persecuting people.
Like the McCarthy era.
Exactly.
So here's a question for you. Think about this.
Yeah.
If all this went down in Salem, how do fear and the desire to fit in still lead to scapegoating today,
Good question.
even without people yelling witch?
Right.
What are those tensions that we have now that could be exploited?
Makes you think about how fragile our own society is.
It really does.
So that's the start of the Crucible and the Salem witch trials. And you're left wondering, how bad is this going to get? What happens to those caught in the middle of it? It's a story that still matters today because it shows us this dark side of human nature, how easily we can turn on each other.
Powerful stuff.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. And until next time, keep thinking critically.
Always.